All right, we're going to talk about how to stop getting ghosted on your job applications, and we're going to do this via recruiter follow-ups. And so what we have today is we've generated a ChatGPT for you so that you can create email follow-up sequences to increase your conversion rate. So let me explain how this works. When you apply to a job, you might end up getting a rejection or a no reply. And what we found is that about 70 to 80% of the time, it's just a no reply. Now, we're able to get that down to a 50% by actually emailing the recruiter and by emailing them multiple times to at least hear a yes or a no. And believe it or not, even if you hear a no, that isn't as bad as hearing nothing, because then it lets you at least know, okay, this resume wasn't it for this job description. Let me reiterate or iterate what my resume looks like to increase my conversion rate. So point of the story is that a no is better than a no reply when applying to jobs. So what we have found is that if you want to increase your number of interviews, there's basically one of three ways. Number one, you optimize your resume. Number two, you reach out to a real human being. Or number three, you just scale your applications because pure volume just will get you more interviews, which for me personally, it's my favorite way, but you probably want to optimize a little bit before you just go sheer brute force. So what are we going to talk about today? So in today's video, we are going to give you a free prize, which is a free gift, which is a GPT where you can actually go, and I'll show you an example of how this works. You can actually go and create follow-up emails designed on what we already know works. So this is based on all of our data of sending out hundreds and thousands of applications for our clients. We have put it into an AI so that you can then use it for your own job finding process. So here's how it works. Very simple. Using this link, you're going to paste in three things. Number one, you're going to paste in your resume. Number two, you're going to paste in the job description link. Number three, you're going to post in the title of the job description, and then you will get your follow-up email in less than 10 seconds. So again, I want to reiterate, why are we doing this? What's the main problem we're trying to solve? So simply put, when you start to apply to jobs, if you haven't already, what you will see is that because there are so many people applying to one position, right, the volume apps, you most likely will not hear a reply. And because you won't hear a reply, you won't know if the resume actually works or not. Now, that's the first problem. The second problem is most people don't actually put in the extra effort to reach out to a real human being. This could be a recruiter, a hiring manager, another engineer on the team. It doesn't matter. No one ever puts in that extra effort, but this has shown to increase your conversion rate, your interview rate by more than 50%. And here's the secret though. It's not just the initial reach out. It's also the follow-up. And so what I mean by the follow-up is, let's say I applied to a job at Airbnb and I send out an email to one of the hiring managers. The hiring manager most likely will not reply the first time, or the recruiter will not reply the first time, whoever you reached out to. The thing is, if you follow up a second time, the chances they reply more than double. And if you reach out a third time to that same person, right, the chances they reply like triple, maybe even more. And honestly, the reason most people don't do it is because they're just frankly a little bit fearful that they're annoying somebody. But what we have found is that more often than not, the person isn't replying simply because one, they might not have seen it. Two, it might have gone lost in spam. Three, they might just be on vacation. Four, maybe they thought you weren't that serious, but then when you follow up, they're like, oh, this person actually is really, really hungry for this role. And think about it from their perspective for a second, because I know a lot of you are still probably like, that's a little too invasive. I don't want to do that. They probably get dozens of cold emails every single day. I will tell you this, as the CEO, I probably get 40 to 60 promotion emails on a daily basis. And this isn't even people looking for a job. This is just junk mail, people trying to sell me something, right? And so the thing about that is that humans are busy. And I bet if you look at your own inbox right now, you also have a ton of emails that were unsolicited. And that's okay. That's just the world we live in. But because of that, you have to remember that you probably should go ahead and hit them up a second, third, maybe even fourth time, because then it tells them, oh, A, this person is serious, B, this person, it might actually be a human. So that's the point of this GPT we created, is how do we make it so that you sound as human as possible? And again, if you're a data scientist, you're probably nodding your head and you're like, yes, we don't want generic emails. We want personalized emails that will have the highest conversion rate, the highest open rate, the highest click-through rate, the highest rate. So let's jump into it. While most candidates are going to have these generic boring emails, what we're going to do is we're going to take exactly what's in the job description. We're going to put it inside the email, and then we're going to add a witty response at the end without it being unprofessional, so that you can actually come off as human. Because if you're able to come off as human and you're able to follow up a decent amount of times, defined as more than 2, you have a much higher chance of getting a reply. And I'll say this one thing before we jump into the GPT. Even if you reach out to a recruiter or a hiring manager that isn't the person that's actually going to be hiring for that role, what you can do is you can actually add an extra line at the bottom of the resume saying, hey, by the way, if you're not the right person to reach out to, I apologize. Would you be able to forward me to the right person? And I'm telling you, I personally have gotten multiple offers just like that. I actually got my offer at Lyft that way, fun fact. And it's a myth that people don't want to help other people, especially if you're reaching out to a recruiter who, like, let's face it, that's most of their day is helping and hiring other people. Like, that's their job. So don't be scared to do it. And by the way, we can make a separate video on how to do it via LinkedIn, but for now, let's just stick via email. So here's how it works. You open up this GPT, and what you're going to do is you're going to take this resume and you're going to post it here. You're going to post this resume. Then you're going to put job description here. In the job description, you're just going to put the link of the job description. And then when you put job title, you can put job title as data engineer. Very, very simple. And then you can actually get the correct email. So in this case, what's happening here is we might not actually be able to read that job description, which is totally fine. So what I'm gonna do here, we're gonna decode this in real time. Okay, so here's how it goes. So we're gonna put the resume here, then we're gonna put the job description. What I'm gonna do in this case is I'm just going to copy and paste the words of the job description, and then I'm just going to put job title data engineer. Now, again, what I want you guys to remember is you can probably do this with ChatGPT. Difference is that you will be using the brain and the data behind what we know about Data Engineer Academy. And because of that, you will be able to get the same results that we get. Again, we send out over 10,000s and 10,000s and thousands of applications every single month. So we know what works, we know what doesn't. So here's how it works. Subject line, I actually read the job description. Weird, I know. Something witty like that. Again, you can A/B test it. It doesn't really matter. But this is something that most people are not going to do. Most people are going to put like, hey, I'm a Amazon analyst going to a data engineer position, blah, blah, blah. That might not get the open rate, right? We tested this. This has the highest open rate. Here, you can then say, I apply. Again, you can change this, by the way. I highly recommend you changing this to the name of the recruiter that you're reaching out to. But then you can say, I applied for the data engineer role, and I promise I didn't just get the JD. You mentioned, et cetera, and that's been my jam at AT&T. Again, this is because they know from your resume where you worked at, I built real-time Kinesis, Glue pipelines, etc., which did this XYZ. And these tools here, Glue, Snowflake, Kinesis, are in the job description of the thing that they're applying to. So not sure if this lands in your world, but if it does, I'm happy to send more, just my resume. And then you can say, PS, love seeing both cloud and on-prem mentioned, et cetera, et cetera. Again, this goes with the job description that we posted above. And you can create another follow-up email so that you can just say, hey, just wanted to check if it landed in your inbox. That could be a second email. The third email could just be like, hey, Lauren, did you receive my email above, right? So the second and the third and the fourth email don't have to be anything crazy. It could just be a little nudge, right? I've seen people do question mark, which Jeff Bezos, fun fact, Jeff Bezos used to do that. When something would go wrong at Amazon and his employees, needed to be alerted of something, right? Let's say Jeff Bezos got an email from an angry customer. Jeff Bezos would just forward it to his employees with question mark and just let them handle it. And so, there's so many ways you can do this, but the first email is the most important. The second, third, and fourth email, what's important is that you just do it, right? And so I don't want you guys to overthink it. And the mistake I see with this first email, frankly, is one, it's in one of the two extremes. One, it's either somebody makes it super generic. Hey, my name is XYZ. I've been a data engineer for 10 years, blah, blah, blah. Would love to work at your company. And it's like, great. That sounds like you just pasted that to 20 different companies. The other extreme is that somebody actually sat down and spent 2 hours on every single email. But what happens is they don't personalize it and they just write like an entire page about who they are. Hey, my name is XYZ. I used to work at this company. I used to work at that company. I used to do this. I used to do that. They go into depth into like a project that they did when in reality, the project's already on their resume. But again, remember, the recruiter is probably the person reading this email and they probably don't even know what most of these tools mean. All they need to know is that you worked on the tools that are in the job description, because they'll look at that, they'll look at the job description, they'll say, great, this person seems like a good fit, let me at least pass them on to the second round. All you're trying to do is get past the recruiter, past the gatekeeper, if you will. And so that's really it. It's really that simple. And again, you can try to create one of your own ChatGPTs, that's perfectly fine, but we have done this based on tens and tens and thousands of job applications that we've sent out. And so if this is something that you're interested in, click on the link below, an entirely free link that you will see below. You can get it, you can use it for your own job search, and ideally you see some responses. And I would love to know if this was helpful. What else are you struggling with in the job process that you need help with? And if you have something in mind there, comment below and we'll create more videos, because whatever problem you're dealing with from a job search and job application standpoint, we probably have already ran into it. So go ahead and put that problem in the comment section. We'll take a look and we'll create a video from it. All right. Cheers, guys. Thank you.